Blessing CEO. Hmm. You see this marriage crisis this girl have. I really want to feel pity for her. Like a part of me really want to feel pity for her and understand her pain. But another part of me is reminding me all the havoc, all what this girl have brought to people's marriage, as in the kind of bragging and everything this girl have done. Yeah, what she have done to people's marriage. Like a part of me kept on remembering that, and this is just like a camel. But it's so surprising that her camel came so too early. Just she's not even married yet, so they are still talking about marriage, how to do their marriage and everything. And before all those gbasgbos that she's even still denying, because up till date she's still denying that there is no problem with her husband. Now, for a very controversial person like Blessing CEO, you guys, if you started following Blessing CEO from onset, you know that that girl have destroyed a lot of marriages with her preaching, her kind of feminism. Like, I don't know, I know feminists, I understand feminism is because I could remember those days in female in Nigeria. Like almost all the females in Nigeria then they were feminists, but their own feminist was kind of understanding because they respect their husband and everything. They do not give that kind of a preaching like that you should not adhere to your husband's rule and everything. No, but the kind of feminism this girl came with when she came out, this kind of feminism, like I could see through at that time that it was just, when you have passed through a lot of things from your ex-husband, so the pain of whatever you passed through, so you are not trying to pour it on other people's marriages, making it look as if other people are married to a man like your husband or your ex-husband. Now, I thank God for the kind of sense that I had, because I could remember as at then, I also would have been deceived. A lot of women was deceived. Some even broke up with their husband. Some ended their marriage because this girl would come online and preach a lot of rubbishes, things that are not realistic in marriage. I understand that in African culture, like the women, we should honor our husband, yeah, a lot of things. But the kind of mindset this girl brought into marriage, the kind of preaching she was preaching a marriage, make it look as if as a woman your husband is your enemy. So if you are just married, your husband, you see your husband as an enemy, the family as this, the family. I thank God I was not led astray, because I'm very very fact with it. I'm saying it the truth that I was among the people that her preaching was getting into, but I thank God that I retraced my step on time. She made it look as if as a woman you should not cook for your husband, you should not do this, it is not your right to do this, because of the domestic violence and the bad things that she went through in her former marriage. So she was using that pain, that anger, because she didn't really have enough time to heal. Yeah, she didn't heal of that stuff before she came online. So she was, those anger, that fight she couldn't fight in her marriages, fight back at her husband and everything. So she was pouring that anger in other people's marriage. She come online, she had the platform, she was pouring that her frustration in other people's marriages. And sadly, those that married a very very good husband, with good in-laws that are really doing well in their marriages, they started picking her advice, and it kind of ruined a lot of people's home. It ruined a lot of marriages, from the people, I would say, from those married women that does not know their left from their right. Because the way I am now as an adult, no woman can actually deceive me like that to leave my marriage. I can attest to the fact that there was a time that her preaching was getting into me, but I was very wise enough to retrace my step on time. And there is one thing that I always said. I said I got married at the age of 25, 21 years. Yeah. If I had the kind of sense that I had at that age, I was able to, use common sense, use wisdom to do some things, then I expect someone who got married at the age of 25 to even be wiser. Not be everything person go come tell you, because in my own marriage, I didn't, people didn't really, I didn't even put myself in that situation for people to come and talk to me, because on my own, there are times that I will be faced with some kind of a situation that I will sit down and I have a rethink, I'll have a rethink. So this girl, she ruined a lot of marriages. And to my surprise, years after, this same girl came online, to come and start telling us how, when she introduced this IVD, like we all know the controversy surrounding this IVD, like we'll go into that later. She announced her relationship with the IVD. IVD is you guys, if you know the controversy around him, like this guy was once married, and you guys, you know the talk about his marriage is not just that he was once married. Like, his wife died as a result of domestic violence, and that discussion, like, I don't know how that even ended. I can't even remember how that case even ended, because it wasn't really like a fair judgment. A lot of story came out from that. A lot of, we didn't even know the one that was true or the one that was lie. But there was this Blessing CEO that came out, stood at the back of that man, and was defending him, even though every evil thing this man did to his wife, it was all over social media. Feminists, people were coming out for, and it was very, very sad for a self-acclaimed feminist that I felt she was supposed to be a girls kind of a person, women supporting women, with the kind of preaching she was dishing us at that time before this incident happened. I expected that, okay, being a woman, and having been in that kind of a situation before in her previous marriage, I expected her to know better, at least to come out and, expose that ill from the man. But to my very surprise, Blessed CEO was the only celebrity. I don't even know if I should call her celebrity or by force celebrity, because she forced herself on us. Like, I don't know how I got to know that girl. She was the only celebrity that stood and was defending that man's rubbish. Like, everybody was against that man. I could remember Tonto Dike was against that. Every celebrity came out to talk against that man, what he did to the late wife. The stories surrounding the late wife dead. Only Blessing CEO came out in support of the man. It was later we got to know that Blessing CEO had something to do with the man. Or I don't know if the feeling later, maybe the feeling grew later, but I don't know. But for someone that was defending the man at that much, that means there is every possibility that she and the man might be having an affair. Yeah, and you guys, you all know that if you recall the story of what happened in this man marriage, you know that one of the problem in their marriage was because the man was accused of having an affair, and as at the time of that case, we didn't really know the girl he was having an affair with. But with the what the revelation later, Blessing announcing him as his fiancée, we all concluded that this woman, the other woman could actually be Blessing CEO. And the thing is so sad. It is so painful, because this person is someone that have passed through domestic violence before. Number one. Number two, you've been in marriage before, you've been treated illy, you've been treated poorly by a husband, by your ex-husband. Every bad thing according to her story, because with everything going on now, I don't know if those story was actually right or wrong, or she just frame it up. But with every bad thing that she said she went through in her marriage, coming out to start doing that same thing to another woman, like, I expected her to know better. At least your own experience, like, you have experienced that thing, and you know that position is not sweet, that experience is not sweet. Then why allowing a fellow woman to go through that thing that you complained about? Now, she didn't put herself in the woman's position. She did stuff with the husband. After defending the husband, okay, we thought she was just defending the husband, maybe because they were friends before. Because, to be very sincere, in all the stories about the bimbo, the IVD, and his late wife bimbo, Blessing CEO was never in the whole story. She was not in the picture, but there was allegedly another woman there who the wife of the bimbo felt the husband was giving all his attention to. And the saddest thing was that they said that the woman was the breadwinner of the family. A lot of, as in, the controversy in that story was actually much that even up to today, I don't know if most of them was true or lie, because it even has to do with voodoo, magic power. They even said the woman was doing juju for the husband to be rich, sacrificed her life for the husband, a lot of things like that. After everything, Blessing CEO came in. So, to the surprise of everybody, because after that case and everything, people were now, it be like say Blessing CEO and this guy get something. Over apparently, sometimes Blessing CEO will post a picture of her man that we do not know. Sometimes she will just post her hand and the man's hand holding each other. That was barely like barely a year of the death of this man's wife, the bimbo. Blessing CEO will just post herself and her man, she will always cover the face. There's been a lot of speculation as at that time that this person Blessing CEO was dating was actually IVD, late Bimbo's husband. But there was no real evidence, to point to that fact. There was no real evidence, because when she posted the picture, she concealed evidence, and she always come online to come and defend, to come and defend it, and say it's a lie whenever that discussion is raised up, or whatever. Whenever people point finger that this person might actually be IVD, she always come out to dispute it and everything. Until, should I say years later, it was less than a year now, a year, months later, this same Blessing CEO announced her husband to be, to the surprise of everybody, it is still this same Bimbo's husband, IVD. Now, why I say I'm not feeling pity for Blessing CEO, because if it was another woman that is facing through this violence, like, oh, now I don't even know if Blessing CEO is really facing domestic violence, because she has come out, even though her first video was very, very revealing, she came out later to come and, you know, start doing damage control. Yes, I will call it damage control, because if you watch, every woman who have passed through domestic violence, there was a way they have a particular way of always coming to dispute it. You know, when you look as if maybe when the man beg her behind doors, you know, they have a way to come and start disputing it and making it look as if they were creating content on and everything. I don't see Blessing CEO as that kind of a person that will come and create content using violence and everything. But to the shock and surprise of everybody, she did. Now, this man we are talking about, this IVD you are talking about, we know how the wife died. Obviously, he was a very violent person when he was still married to the ex-wife. So I wonder how Blessing CEO, who went through a violent marriage, you know, ended up to with that kind of a person, because this person, you don't get the knowledge, you don't get the, I expected better. Even if you want marry later, even if you want marry, I didn't even expect a married man that the wife, this kind of controversy surrounding the wife, the signs were there, you saw the signs and everything. So it means that everything you've been teaching the feminists, you know, that feminism and everything, you know, she was not doing it, like she was not adhering to her own teaching. So now, first thing first was that this Blessing CEO that would normally come out, you know, advise women, don't cook for your husband, don't do this, don't do this, don't allow your husband turn you to a maid, don't do this, don't do that. The same Blessing CEO started cooking and serving man. This same Blessing, this so feminist, so wey say women do this, you don't tolerate this and that in your marriage, this same person, she broke all the rules of her teaching and started doing all those things she said women should not do, like women were foolishly following. It was later I saw her interview with one, was it interview or she said it in her, she made a video about it here on her handles, and she was saying she didn't believe that she would ever cook for a man. You know, she said she started saying a lot of rubbish that she did, because according to her, she did it for love, that she never imagined that she would cook she will cook in Enugu and send to a man in Lagos. But when she found love, when she found IVD, those things she felt she was never going to do for a man, she started doing it. You see all those feminists, all those women who now they allow on herself, people go just come, they deceive una. Say this same person, this same power now, this same person will deceive una, will make una get misunderstanding for una marriage. You guys started accusing your husband, you know, bringing unnecessary problem to your marriage. This same person that gave you guys these advices, the person went back to start doing contrary to that thing she advised you guys to do. The same person will say, never cook for a man. I remember all her advice, because I remember I was an added follower of her, even though I wasn't really doing her teaching, I wasn't following. Sometimes, you know, just for clout chasing cruise, you know, we just go there to watch her videos. She started doing all those things. This should give feminists, you see all those women who and no left from, this should be an advice to you guys, like use your sense more than not allow person using her sense for now, because if you don't use your sense, people will use your sense for you. Yes, if you do not use your sense, people will use your sense for you. As a newly married woman, not the kind of advice to follow. And you see these pictures, picture perfect, like, because I notice a pattern with these women. What they do, they believe in this picture perfect. You know, they will come out with their man, snap a very good picture, make videos, post. Then you, that your marriage is bread and butter, to even compare with their marriage, you start envying them. I was in that situation. I'm not giving this advice because this thing never happened to me. Everything I'm saying in this video, I was in that situation, because I could remember then when I newly got married, I would see couples, you know, those they are kissing thing. Then social media was all about, then this content creator never start. Now Facebook was not monetized then, so it was just about, you know, coming, what people do on Facebook then was to come and pepper singles, you know, using your marriage to pepper other people's marriage. People would just come out with their spouse, make video of them kissing, you know, all those kind of a thing. Then those people that did not really get married to men, husbands that are romantic, they start being jealous. Like me, I could remember a particular woman then I know her very well. Yeah, whenever I see her post picture with her husband, you see them, you know, so lovey-dovey, and I'll be like, oh wow, God, I wish not me. Then I was married though. My husband was not really a romantic person, but I will be envying them, not even knowing that my own marriage, like, you'll be envying those people without knowing that your marriage self is even sweeter than theirs. They don't tell you what happens behind closed doors. You only see that picture perfect, that 1 minute video they post for you on social media. That's what you judge their life with. But honey, it is not like that. If you're a married woman, listen to this video, because listen to it to the end and pick one lesson to the other, or the other, so that you mind the kind of advice you are listening to, mind what you see, mind the kind of pictures you are following, mind the kind of advice the people who they collect advice for. Because even me, as a woman as I am now, I can tell you for a fact that it is not even all advice I take from my mom. Yes, I can remember there was a time in my marriage that there's this statement that the first 3 years of marriage, couples always have misunderstanding, because that's when they will have to learn each other, yes, reach a compromise. If my mom wants to advise me that time, there is a word she normally use. I keep on correcting that statement. She will be like, in Igbo, she will be like, oh, tu mu oke si eme. Interpreting it in English, she'll be like, if she want to advise you, things to do for your husband, like things to do in your marriage, she'll be like, that is how all men behave. Using her own marriage, the kind of a man she's married to, that is my dad. She'll use it to judge all other men and categorize them. So if this is what she used in her own marriage, maybe while she was experiencing something like this was what she did in her own marriage, to solve the problem. She will give you that thing and expect you to do it verbatim. Yes, I am not saying, even as a mom, it is not advice, all advice you should take from your mom. I am not trying to say that your mom will give you a wrong advice. No, that is not what I'm trying to say. But the advice, the kind of a man your mom is married to, it might not, that advice might not be applicable. It might not go well with the kind of a man you are married to. So when my mom gives me advice that time, I sit down and I rethink that advice, and I'll be like, oh, for the kind of a man I'm married to, some of this advice did not go. If I apply some of this solution, it will even make the problem in my marriage become very, very worse. Yes, it is not all that I did. There are some that she will give me, but they understand. She always use this word that, oh, because my dad is like that, she'll be like, that is how all men behave. That is how all men are. That is how all men. I always correct her. I'll be like, mommy, see, there are roughly 1 billion men. Yes, the population of men in the world are roughly like 1 billion. It might be even more than. But out of that 1 billion, you are just married to only one man, which is my dad. Now, it is wrong for you to, use my dad, the characteristic of my dad, or should I say the charisma, everything about my dad, the attribute of my dad. It is wrong for you to use it to judge to group every other man out there, to categorize them, because no two persons are the same, not even the identical twins. If you see two identical twins, you watch them, one may be calm while the other one will be lousy. It is just like that. So you cannot, in fact, the only time as a woman you can come out with that categorization, be like, that is how all men are. Just make sure you have dates up to like at least 50% of the population of men in the world before you give me that categorization, and I will believe you. Not when you are married to just one man, you come and give that categorization that, oh, that is how all men behave. No, honey, sweetie, that is not how all men behave. So even you as a woman, you mind the kind of advice you collect from your mom. So this was exactly what this blessed CEO did. A lot of people, they took her advice, and see now, you see that woman where you take the advice now, your marriage don't break. See the person, this same person, they do everything where she advised you, they do the opposite now in her marriage. Now this same person came out after what this IVD did to the wife. You saw everything, the tears and everything. You came out to defend this man with your full chest. Now the same person came out like a few days ago to come and tell us she's passing through depression, that some days she cries in her house, a lot of things. And you guys, apart from that, that there was a time her husband was arrested. Yeah, I think they went to Dubai. The man was arrested. Like, I didn't even care to know what happened, what transpired, because like I lost interest in everything concerning Blessing CEO. The reason I'm talking about this one is that I remembered everything, every kind of advice. This her latest, and this reminds me of every kind of advice she have dished to young couples, yes, and even the controversy surrounding her and her man she wants to be married to. So according to what I heard, Blessing CEO came out to come and say she's passing through stuff, she's going through stuff. She didn't even end with that. She made a video in her house. She made a video of her house and made a video of some broken glasses and everything. Everything pointed to domestic violence. You guys, you all know that man have been violent before. Like, sometimes I don't know what these women are thinking. Oh, you already know that this person in his previous marriage, he was violent. The signs, the red flags, they were there. You still went ahead to marry this person because in that your tiny mind, you felt okay. If like say the wife no love and rich, or the wife no respect and rich enough, that's why he was maltreating his wife. No, a violent person is a violent person. Once a violent person and always a violent person. Even if you worship them from now till tomorrow, you do everything they want them to do. As long as that person is already violent, there is already that tendency of hitting women, he will still hit you. He will still look for one reason or the other to hit you. So after making this video and posting, everything pointed at domestic violence, but to the surprise of everybody, 2 days later she came to come and debunk that it was not violence, that it was armed robbery. She even showed us pictures of her face, injury and everything. She came back to say that it was not violence, that it's not from her husband, that her husband is the best thing that happened to her after fried rice, that the husband is the sweetest thing after pepper soup and agidi jollof. This. Now she's denying it, she's disputing. It is very likely that is what every marriage, every most of these social media married people do. When e dey like say una don come cast una domestic violence, by the time wey the man don go corner beg una, you guys will come out to start doing damage control. She came out to say that it was actually armed robbers that visited her house. Armed robbers robbed her and they beat her up. Okay. So you guys, that her rival na Saida Boys don't come out, drop her 2 cents. She was like, see Blessing, see you, I know say because of the way you don't badmouth people's marriage, now you felt so ashamed to come out to tell the world that you're actually passing through domestic violence. But see, I am a girl person, I will not judge you. If that man is really beating you, please pack your load and come out, so it will not be like the case of another Osinashi or the case of another IVD's wife, Bimbo, because this was exactly what happened to Bimbo, IVD's wife. So that will not come out again and start doing justice for Blessing CEO, justice for this, justice. Because me, I'm not ready to protest for anybody or to come begin drag anybody to court. If you enter domestic violence, come out. You've passed through this thing before, so you should know better. So according to the story I'm hearing, or should I say allegedly, I am hearing that there is this lady I'm following on Instagram. She said what actually caused the domestic violence. I think I will read her chat to you. I will read what she said. She said that whenever Blessing CEO goes out, that the cause of their problem is because the Blessing CEO's husband, allegedly, that Blessing CEO's husband is suspecting Blessing CEO of cheating. That whenever Blessing CEO goes out and comes back, that the man will tell Blessing CEO to remove her pants so that he will smell to know if he made love with anybody. That smell of sperm. That is what has been going on. And Blessing CEO, she had been bearing that thing, and to the extent that she couldn't bear it again. So she just decided to fight back and everything. And because she was now noticing the kind of attitude, that violent nature of the man, so she decided to pause their marriage. They've not done their marriage. And I think it was just introduction. I've been a bride price they pay. I don't know. So the CEO decided to pause everything, and that was actually what got the man even angrier. That he started being more violent. So right now, Blessing CEO see they debunk, but he go debunk tire. But you guys watch this space, because this battle, it is far from being over. Like every day, new drama will they unfold. I will keep you guys up to date. And please, as marriage couple, like I've said before, learn one or two from this Blessing CEO's marriage and know the kind of people you take advice from, even online, even from your pastors, from your whoever it is you respect. Not all marriage are not the same. It might be applicable to that person. Yes, that advice where that person give, if you solve their marriage, it might not solve your own, because marriage no get manual. Yes, there is no manual to marriage. Yours and mine are not the same. We are not married to the same kind of man. Now I will give you an example. I will give you a story of something that happened in my marriage when I was newly married. When I was newly married, there is one attitude my husband portrayed. Like, he was good. He was so used to whenever we have problem, he will say he doesn't want to eat. He will reject food. It means that I will cook because I serve the both of us food together. I will cook our food, serve on the dining. I will call him to come and eat, and he will say no. He will reject the food. So it was a normal attitude. Because every time he does that, I will come and beg him. After I beg before Oga will come eat. So that day, I saw this advice on social media. I just decided to try it. I said, okay, in my own marriage, this thing will work. I saw that idea. I decided to try. So what happened is that me and my husband, we had misunderstanding as normal, and he decided he was not going to eat. Unlike me, normally, that will go and beg him to come and join me, let's eat. I didn't beg him that day. I devoured the whole food. Like, I finished the food. The man was really angry, but sure, he was trying to, that pride, there go of a man. But looking at him, say hunger won't finish this man. Hunger won't finish. Like, this man slept with, even while he was sleeping in the room, I could see him turning on the bed, as in to show you this hunger they deal with this man. He was literally turning on the bed because he couldn't sleep, hunger. I think after like hours, midnight, I decided that make I romance this man, make I romance the ego, make I just beg him, even though what caused our problem was not even my fault. So I just decided to beg him. So after I just say, okay, yeah, you see the verse for that stuff. Okay, I'm sorry now. After, unlike before that, I will have to beg this man for hours before he will accept. He didn't even take time to accept because he be like say hunger won't chop this man intestine. I no even talk too much said before he said okay, it's okay. Then the next question this man popped out was that is food still remaining. Like I wanted to laugh but I held, when you hold laughter, like I wanted to laugh but I hold my laughter because I know that if I had laughed at that period, in fact I don't spoil something. I didn't laugh. I told him no, there was no food. Do you know at last what he did? He soaked gari. Now gari is so could drink that night. Do you know that thing actually worked for me because that was the last time my husband ever tried that. That was the last time he reject food when me and him are having misunderstanding. So you see this advice, that same Facebook where I saw this advice and I did it, I actually saw the advice. This mama let and papa let on Facebook that time. Yeah, somebody actually tried it, it worked. So she dropped the story. Women, people that have tried that before, they were just commenting. So I tried it worked for me. Now in that same story there was another woman who copied that advice and tried it in her own marriage. I can tell you that the woman came online, came back to Facebook and started lamenting. I started lamenting that actually led her back to her father's house. She tried that and the husband was so mad that the husband beat her up, and to the extent that he threw her out and said, bless you, your mama and your pando train you, where you have to go back to them so that they will train you. So that is why I said, you see now, the same advice I applied in my marriage, it worked. My husband stopped rejecting food. Another person applied it in their own, and what happened? Their own story got worse. So that's what I'm saying. Please mind the kind of advice you take as a married woman. Please mind the people you take advice from. Not just minding the people you take advice for. It is not all advice you take. The advice might sound good. Might sound good. I am not saying the advice have to be bad. No, it might sound very very good, but please know the kind of a person you are married to and know the kind of advice to apply in your marriage. That it work for another person doesn't mean to work for you. So please know the kind of man you are married to know the kind of advice that is applicable, because like I've said before, marriage no get manual. Every aboki with a kettle. Yes, marriage is like a boat. Everybody paddle the way to the direction where e favour you. So guys, still on this blessing CEO matter, we will drop updates as updates dey land. I go dey drop. Please, if you have any story of this husband and wife, please drop. I would like to also hear your story, just like I shared my own story about advice gone wrong. Please share your own story. I'll be reading. Thank you.